Hey, Jackie. Hey. Wait, I'm going to get it this time. Hey, okay. Jackie.
Hi, Eric. I always just laugh. I actually think that's the beginning of almost all the podcasts is laughing.
Which should be.
It's a good thing, though.
It should be. That's like the introduction of like, hey, you're going to have fun with us.
Yeah, you are going to have fun. It's always fun. That's true.
So it's been a couple months.
I think somebody out there knows exactly how long it's been, and I know that they are counting. We've had a lot of you guys have reached out to us very politely and lovingly and asked us to come back and told us we need to come back right now or else. Derek, you famously asked for something else for my giveaway, and that was a Crafting Geek episode. So here you go. It's like you won the giveaway.
Derek, you won.
Yes, you did. So we are really excited to be back. It's been a long time coming, but I think Eric and we've had some really good chats, and I think that we have like some pretty cool plans and interesting guests planned out. And I don't know. I think the podcast is gonna be better than ever. Really.
Yeah, we've officially gone from like 12% of a plan to maybe like, I don't know, like 18% maybe? I don't know.
Wow, look at that. Oh man, this loading bar is taking a really long time.
Do you think 18% is accurate, or is it a little higher than that? Okay.
Yeah, I think 18. I mean, we have some updates. We have a YouTube channel that's dedicated to Crafting Geek. We have a website dedicated just to Crafting Geek.
New website. We've kind of broken everything out away from my Coregeek stuff to just kind of have Crafting Geek be its own thing. So check out craftinggeek.com. And like you said, a new YouTube channel if you're watching us on YouTube. And in case you don't know that we're on YouTube as well. So if you want to see our beautiful faces.
Yes, you can come look at us and then tell us about it in the comments.
Or the question is, what color is Jackie's hair this week?
Oh, yeah. Imagine if there's listeners out there that have never actually looked it up. Like they just found us on their like iTunes recommended podcasts, and they've never followed the rabbit hole to see who the podcast people are. Like, imagine what they think we look like. Oh, man, I can't even.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about that. All I know is if you look back at the very first episode where you were sitting in like your living room or whatever, there's that really cool mirror behind you. And it actually looks like you have antlers.
Oh, my gosh. I can't even. That's been so long. That mirror is still there. It's pretty dusty right now.
I know, but it's cool. It's cool. I mean, I think people thought maybe you were wearing cosplay, but it actually was just a mirror behind you.
My hair is always my cosplay.
This is true.
It's my casual cosplay. But yeah, I'm excited about having everything all in one place. And Eric and I talked about adding other things to the site, like the stuff that we talk about on the show. Maybe there'll be like links on there and recommendations and things that are like our favorites, so that when you guys are sending us messages privately about it, we have like an actual place we can send you where, hey, this is exactly the thing I was talking about. Because some of the products, and I don't know, I mean, not even just crafting products, everything we talk about on the show, it's like some of the things sound so strange. Like Warbler, that's a weird thing. For a long time, a lot of people are like, what the heck? How do you even spell that? So
I still think it's a weird word.
It is a weird world.
It's like what? Huh?
Yeah, it's strange.
Because it always follows with, it's a thermoplastic, right?
Yes. Yeah. I wonder why they named it that, actually. I wonder what it came from. It's interesting.
Well, it's even weirder because isn't it like something arts Warbler or something? It's like it's this whole like.
Oh yeah, Warbler's finest art.
Yeah, Warbler's finest. It's like very. Yeah. I guess it's
instead of calling it WFA or something, we were like, let's just stick with Warbler. We love it.
Yeah,
it's a great word.
Yeah, or how about plastic you can heat and make costumes from? I mean, it's kind of long, but it kind of gets the point, right?
Yeah, heaty plastic, melty plastic, melty shapey. Some terrible names. I won't be in the brand naming anytime.
So, are we talking about the end of the last half of last year a little bit? Do you want to go over some of that stuff?
I feel like we have a lot. Like, obviously, we went to Germany together.
Yes, we did. And we didn't kill each other, so there's...
No, we did not. And we survived Germany. Germany was very friendly, though. To be fair,
Germany was incredible.
Upset Germany more than Germany upset us. If any of you guys watched the vlog, we were just hanging out in the touristy area, really awesome Munich residents, and an old lady gave us the bird, and
yelled very, very strong German words.
Yes. And there was an American family nearby that witnessed it, and they were having a laugh. So we knew they understood. And it's from English.
It's so basically anger and flipping somebody off is a universal language. Even if you don't speak the language.
Yeah. I showed my grandparents, my family. They all had a laugh about it. They're like, "What were you doing to upset her? We don't believe you weren't doing anything." I wasn't.
No, you were. Weren't you just? You were videoing the building, right? Filming the building. Yeah. So
but that's fine. It's okay. Some people don't like tourists. Honestly, tourists get a bad rap around here too on the Outer Banks. Like, locals can be kind of salty. So I give her the pass. It's fine. Germany overall was wonderful anyway, though. Like that experience wasn't even bad. We laughed and had a fun time. We still enjoyed it.
It was like one of my favorite moments, really. I felt like we were being embraced as tourists.
Me too. See, it was like, yeah, she spoke to us. They acknowledged we're here.
So
we had a good time now.
Yeah, we did, and we did a heck of a lot of walking. I think.
Oh my gosh!
I think I'd have to look back to know the exact mileage, but I have an Apple Watch that was tracking us the whole time. And I think our busiest day, we walked almost 13 miles.
Yes. And then we had another day that was 8.8 and another day that was 8.6. I just remember it because I bought new shoes like a clown. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I bought them literally on the way to the airport. I stopped in a shoe store, got new shoes. What? Like, there's a reason why there's comedy about that. Like, you just don't do new shoes. And then we walked it wasn't just like new shoes walking on flat surfaces. We walked up some serious altitude. Oh my gosh.
There was. And also walking down.
The down is the worst. Nobody tells you about that. Nobody talks about the down.
The trip,
keep yourself from toppling forward.
Yeah, exactly. And the trip going down from the castle, what's the name of it? Neuschwanstein. Yeah, that was steep because we took the shortcut.
And it was raining.
We took the shortcut in the rain.
Slimy spots of
it was slick
and stuff.
Yeah, there were people dropping left and right, and we were just we gotta get out of here.
Dude, it was crazy how it affected the rain. But that was such an incredible place. I still can't believe it. I wish that we could have taken more photos and video inside, but obviously.
Yeah. For those that don't know, you're not allowed to take photos and stuff inside because they want you to buy their nice fancy photos in there, in their gift shop, which admittedly look a lot better.
It's the most popular castle in the world, so it's definitely worth visiting in your lifetime. I would put it on your bucket list. It's shockingly beautiful. It's hard to believe that they built that up there, that they got the supplies, because there's not a lot of wood and materials that can be harvested at the top.
It's kind of a big open valley where it's at.
Yeah, they really had to hoist some serious stuff up there.
So as we're on the bus heading out there, all I know is, and I told you this before, but just to share with everybody else, it's the whole time I'm thinking, what? It's way out there, especially we started in Munich, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Munich that day. Yeah, that's right.
And it was an hour and a half bus ride or 2 hours or something. And I'm like, what? Why would you build a castle out here in the middle of freaking nowhere? And it
overlooked his parents' castle that was down in the valley.
But you get to the castle and you realize it's you always hear location. The guy, was it King? What was his name?
Oh,
I already forgot. Was it Louis?
Ludwig,
yeah.
Ludwig, yeah. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to all
I'm so sorry if we're wrong.
Sorry to all your Germans if we just butchered your history.
I know, and we met some of you, and you were freaking amazing. I can't believe how many Germans listen to the podcast. What, dude? Blew our minds.
True. So that was really insane. The thing that blew me away is you get to that castle, and it doesn't matter where you are around it or inside of it. Everywhere you look is $1 million view, even the backside because it has a huge ass waterfall.
Yeah, and a very scary bridge that I walked out on then quickly was Eric, could you just film this? I had to turn around, go back, y'all.
Did you actually walk onto it?
Jesus.
Did you actually walk onto it, though?
I walked
Did you make it?
About 6 steps.
Okay, that's right.
Is it? And I turned and I saw the view and I looked down and I was like, y'all, I don't trust whoever made this. There's human error for a reason. We're all going down. There's too many people on that bridge. It was packed too.
It was packed, and it was a very sturdy bridge though. It didn't even move. There was loaded with people, and I didn't even feel it move. And I don't have a problem with heights, so I was out there leaning over the rail, taking all kinds of video. For you, getting a selfie. It's still on my Facebook page, I think, a selfie with the castle. So
Yes. The footage that you got, though, was amazing. Like, that's the best scene in the video that I made, and the photo that you got. Like, oh my gosh, I have that photo. I need to get that printed, actually, because I want it framed. You got a really good photo.
That's the advantage of being tall. You can kind of get over everybody and just kind of put your arm, because I just was like over the top of everybody and put my arms out, above them, and you can just kind of film over people, and you get your shot.
If you guys don't know this about Eric, especially those of you that have never seen what we look like, because there has to be someone. Eric is really tall.
Well, I'm
actually surprised how tall he was. Like,
really?
It was a lot taller than I thought. Yeah, I was like, wow, he's a tall dude.
Yeah,
I'm saying tall, but you don't realize, like, you're very tall.
I'm almost 6'2", so I mean, I'm not like
6'9". I don't know. It was very tall to me. I was like, hey, Eric is so tall. You have good posture and stuff too.
Thank you. I get told a lot that I intimidate people because of my size, and I don't get it, but it's just me, but whatever.
And then you speak and they're like, oh, he's just a big old dope. Under certain circumstances, I'm sure people are intimidated by you. I can imagine situations where you would be intimidating. But yeah, that was so much fun, man. And we also went to the other, oh gosh, it's been so long. I can't believe
I know. It's been like
the other residence that he had
over
that
6.
had like a.
Yeah.
It was all like gold inlay, and like porcelain was a big export. So they had like porcelain bouquets and like porcelain attached to the wall, like facades and sculpted.
That was the summer home castle thing?
Yeah.
With the really beautiful garden.
Grotto, but it was closed at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really pretty. And that's also the one that has the table that comes through.
Yes, I was just thinking about it. I was like, we got to tell him about that table, y'all.
Do you remember the story? I don't remember the story.
I remember, yeah. So he was a loner, and he slept during the day and was up at night, and really just didn't connect with people. And this is so bad, obviously. It's a beautiful place. I still recommend it, but he didn't like to see the servants, so they had like quarters downstairs, and the servants would put the food on his table and then crank, and it would go up into his bedroom.
Yeah,
and then
it would magically appear.
Yeah, and there's a fancy name for the table, like in German, they said it.
Yeah.
And it has like a story behind it. It might be based loosely on a child's story or something. They told us some lore.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's a children's story. It's basically about a magic table in this castle or whatever.
Yeah, about a magic table. And it's fascinating to see something built during that time period that had that. And he also had electric lights and stuff in that house, which was interesting. In the beginning of electric and stuff in Neuschwanstein.
Yeah, because Neuschwanstein really isn't that old. It's made to look old, but it's not an old castle. It had plumbing too. And
like the kitchen was crazy. The kitchen looked like the most. Maybe it could be like never evolved from the 1500s kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. It had that that old school like almost like barn like look to it or something. Yeah.
But then he got his inspiration from Versailles. So there's like elaborate paintings, and Tristan and Isolde, I think he liked the story of that story, and then Knights of the Round Table. So there's like tons of murals, and then his bedroom was the darkest, most gothic thing I've ever seen.
Wasn't there
like Dracula would live there?
And there is like
for real
200 spires or something on his bed.
Yeah,
like a 4-poster bed with these like cathedral spires, all hand carved. So
all hand carved. Like, how many woodworkers had to make that bedroom? Like all the chairs, the bed, the. I just can't imagine doing that. And with the lighting back then, like, dude, they were probably like just. I don't know. I can't actually put together how that was made during that time period with the limited tools, but people have been making crazy things for years. So
yeah, well, I mean, the pyramids do exist. So and
yeah, well, that's aliens. We know.
Well, I was gonna say, unless you believe in aliens, obviously. And then okay, all right. So we're on par with that. Good to know.
Yeah, because otherwise, no, they don't make any sense, guys.
So did you have like a very like super favorite moment in Germany, or was it all just? Was there anything that just like really stood out to you other than the love of an old woman and her middle finger?
Well, to be honest, it was very nice going to spend time with Svetlana and Benny. I think we both probably, that was a big highlight. Like
absolutely,
they gave us a tour. We went around Nuremberg, which is again
another amazing city,
that still is a standing fortress city from the 1100s. Like that's insane.
And these incredible cathedrals, and it's just.
And they have a Christmas event that goes on, so like all the town shops are really pretty, and they have like an actual town square and statues. It's such a. They haven't allowed like modern modern design to infringe on like the beautiful natural or the beautiful local like culture that has progressed. Like they haven't imported other modern designs. It's definitely just the evolution of a German town.
Yeah, and it feels that's like something that really stood out to me. Like when we go from city to city or whatever, it's like it feels old, but it's a cool old. Like you feel like you're part of a history, you know. Whereas in the U.S., I mean, we don't have buildings more than a couple hundred years old. So it's like, and you stand next to some cathedral that was built 500 years ago or
and
something,
there's like
or even older
sites on the walls, like from the mortar and the cannons, like from the wars that have existed over time. You actually can see the damage in the wall. Like that's bananas. That's actually cool. Like it gives me chills just remembering it, like seeing on the side of the cathedral, like obviously you guys know all the history with the wars, but depending on what war it is, there's different kinds of facades that were left and a few crumbled like statues that they left. And it's just interesting how much they've embraced like the evolution of their culture. I like that. I think it's really cool to see that. It's not just torn down and covered up.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. That was a highlight. And the people, because, how would you think of the con? Because I thought the con was great. I had a great time at the con.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, the people I met in Germany, I was so surprised because I didn't know what to think. And honestly, like a couple of people I talked to were like, oh, they're going to be a little different. Like you're a little bubbly and out there and they're going to be a little colder. Yeah, whatever. They were great. Yeah. They totally like the bubbly thing and they're fun to talk to. And like, they don't look at me like, oh my gosh, she's so obscure and weird and this crazy American. They were amazing and funny and quirky in their own way. And the craftsmanship is like, holy crap. If you have not gone overseas and looked at charts, what are you waiting for? And the freaking contest, like, oh my gosh. So for starters, Eric knows because I was along the journey. I was definitely pretty nervous the whole time about hosting an international cosplay event. And then I find out it's not a small con. 55,000 people attend this event and it's packed full in the auditorium with, I don't know, somewhere around 2,000 people or something. It was
it was a little bit. The main stage space was huge.
Yeah.
That was a big area.
Yeah, and so they trusted me enough to ask me to host, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'm sure it'll be fine." And then I get there, like, "Oh wow!" And it's not just Germans. We met people from Switzerland, from England, an American American what is it called, transplant that was living there. Yep. A lady and her family, which was lovely. They were the Star Wars group, and I think she was like the Leia with the can't think of what it's called.
I'm gonna forget everybody's names. It's been so long.
Well, then once I see the page or something, I'll know exactly. But I can draw their faces for sure. But it's the audience was amazing. I had time to kill a few times. Like, while the thing about the event, the cosplay event, was that they don't just walk on stage. Every single person did a skit, and it was like not a cringy skit. They were insanely good, like from belly dancing to couples doing like romantic Disney things to sword fighting. That was like you could tell these people had been practicing nonstop. I've never seen anything like it. It blew my mind.
Yeah, I was really bummed that I wasn't able to be there because they so for those that don't know, they switched my panel time to the same time as the costume contest.
I know that was the worst. Not having Eric, it's even more scary because like Eric's like my buddy and like my my right hand in this situation, and I'm like, okay, sure, yep, I'm gonna. But luckily, all the girls that were guest judges with me were so that were the judges. I was the host and they were the judges.
Yeah,
they were so easy to talk to and so nice and inviting, and the jokes went well. It was so good. I was actually really nervous about the humor because you never know if something's going to translate. But the audience laughed and had a great time. And when I had time to kill, I asked them to teach me words in German. And I learned, I was trying to say an ice cream cone or a squirrel or something. They were like, I was like, what's an interesting word?
I think it was squirrel. Yeah.
Squirrel. And instead I kept saying ice cream cone. It was like Ike something, but I messed it up a million times. But the audience laughed and it was a good time. So I definitely, I don't know what I was expecting, but it far surpassed my expectations. And I'll never forget that whole experience. It was so good. It was a highlight in my career for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you nailed it and had so many people.
And we loved our fellow guests that were also.
Oh yeah. So many. Yeah. It was.
You guys know. And Allison.
That? Oh yeah. Ken Patsu and Allison Tabitha. Who else was there? So many people.
Yeah, it was. We had a really nice group.
Baka Cosplay.
Oh yeah, Baka. I got a photo from them actually.
Yeah, I did too.
Like
I did too.
Yeah.
And James from Shell Shocked, and just a lot of really great
we got to hang out with our buddy Wayne.
Oh yeah, and Wayne and Angela. Don't forget Angela.
Yep, because Wayne and Angela, it's good to see them. Yeah, it was actually really nice to get, like, because it was a bigger con than we realized, we got to see a ton of people. Oh, yeah. And just a side little excitement. Jamie Lannister was like 5 feet away from me. And I'm just like, and I'm not usually like a freak out fangirl. Like, doing the circuit with Wizard World, there were a lot of celebrities that I would like cross paths with. And I tried to just always be cool about it because it's hard. I don't care who you are. Sometimes you just get excited. Like, I love the Green Power Ranger. I used to have posters of that man. I was in love with him when I was like 13. Like, unhealthy as all young girls are.
It was.
And then I had to hang out with him and like do contests and judging. So it was like, yeah, well, I shouldn't have even just said that all out loud. Sorry, Jason. Hopefully he'll never listen to this. But he's a delight anyways. And that's the same thing, is you never know if all of a sudden your life is going to take you in a different path and you're going to have to be around these people. So I try not to be crazy, but dang, I was wanting to be crazy, y'all. He is so beautiful. He's like a snack.
Yeah, so we're hanging out in the lobby on the back side of the hotel, right? Yeah. And by the bar, and there's a back entrance basically. And I see these two pretty tall dudes walk in, and
yeah, they were really tall.
And there's some other con people there with them with their badges and stuff. But the guys were both wearing their hats kind of low, and I just had that moment of like, I think those are somebody important. And as they finally came through the door and got a little closer, I realized it was I don't remember his actual name.
It was Theon Greyjoy, or not Theon. It was it was the older Greyjoy brother.
Yeah, and then Uncle Greyjoy.
Why can't I think of his name?
I can't. And then Walter is it?
And then Jamie Lannister.
Yeah, and then Jamie. Yeah, we won't use his real name because it's Walter something, isn't it?
Isn't it like
Nikolai Waldu or something. I don't know. I'm killing it.
Yeah, it's a weird name. But
anyway, so I gave Jackie a little like nudge. Hey,
it was so exciting.
Jamie Lannister just walked in the building. But the cool thing was I don't know about you because we weren't always together during the whole con, but I saw them probably at least 4 or 5 other times throughout the con. In the hotel, like just at different moments, moving around and stuff. So I barely missed getting in an elevator with them, but I would have had to like make a scene to get into it. So I was just like, nah, I don't think I'm going to do that.
I'm going to make a scene. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's cool. It's so cool to see people like that. Just because I love Game of Thrones, I love it so much. I don't think I've ever loved a franchise maybe as much as I love that. Like, I really do enjoy Game of Thrones just because it's so crazy to think that someone put so much effort into making such a beautifully elaborate story with backstory. Like, like Tolkien. Like, it's just interesting I love like deep stories that have a lot of back end. It's just alt history almost, It appeals
totally. And it's so well made too. It's just such a beautiful production, and the costuming is so good, and it's just
oh my gosh, it's
top notch. So my more like celebrity sighting thing from the weekend was one of the mornings that I went down while you stayed in the room. I was sitting there sitting there having breakfast at the hotel, and a super, super tall dude walked in, and I knew immediately that it was the guy that plays Chewbacca now for the Star Wars movies. So I've been telling all my friends that I had breakfast with Chewbacca, even though we weren't at the same table, and he was like 2 tables away from me. But still, we had breakfast together.
Oh yeah.
That's the story.
Just like Photoshop him right beside you.
Yeah. And the biggest bummer of the whole weekend for me was Chuck Norris canceled. So it was just like,
That was a bummer.
Yeah, because I was kind of hoping
it was still such a packed, fun con. Like,
we probably would have saw him though, because all the celebrities were staying at the same hotel, and that was a really nice hotel, by the way.
Really nice hotel.
Really nice hotel.
Those of you that watch my Instagram stories saw a lot of the hotel, and they're still pinned on my stories in the highlight section if you guys want to check it out. But our hotel had a bathroom that had a see-through window into the bedroom, and that was
from the shower.
Yeah, like in the shower, glass right to the bedroom, and I was like, all right. I mean, I had a curtain, luckily, but
yeah, you can block it. But it had a lot of glass. It was a lot of glass doors and
glass doors with like a big opening underneath. Like it wasn't very like, it wasn't like the American closed off bathroom style. It was very open.
No, it was all very.
It was a beautiful place though. Yeah. All in all, like that. I loved that hotel room. It was really, really pretty.
My only complaint is the tricky air conditioner, which keys off your room, and as soon as you leave your room, because you have to put the key in the wall when you get there, and as soon as you leave your room, it turns all the air conditioning off, so your room just gets boiling hot. And it was warm. It was in the 90s,
and it was warm. Yes. Oh my gosh, it was so warm. That AC thing was tricky.
Fahrenheit, that is. Fahrenheit.
Yes. And I brought and I had such a problem that I've never had before, where I didn't my setting spray, my marble green spray was expired, and it was like chunky in the bottle, and none of my body paint was set. And so I was miserable, because there's nothing, as you guys know, there's nothing quite like just like dripping all over your stuff. And like people, I felt bad because like all the places where you'd normally sweat, because it was hot, and then that wig is so hot, and then my clothing is painfully hot. Like it's all made out of like really heavy duty, nice fabrics, which was so stupid in hindsight. So Ganon is one of the hottest costumes. Actually, it is the hottest. Lich King is not hotter. Lich King is less hot than Ganon, and it's because of the wig and the body paint and how many layers there are, and then a velvet cape that traps the heat in. It's just too much. And I was on fire, y'all, on fire. And I had just green sweat going everywhere, and then it stained my skin, and it took some serious scrubbing and removal to get it off. It was just, like all the things that could go wrong with that body paint went wrong. It was nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I wasn't prepared.
You were almost a sweaty green Hulk, right?
and everybody knows, like, it's just, I'm sure a lot of you listening feel this way, but I care so much about like the face being together. Yeah. Like if everything else is going wrong, you're talking to people with your face and your mouth, and if they're distracted by the crazy things that are going on in your face, they're not listening to what you're saying as much. You become kind of like, oh gosh, look at all this crazy. And so it's hard as like a person in front of people to deal with that. But lessons learned, and I'll never ever leave the house without testing brand new setting spray.
Without making sure your stuff's ready to go first. Yeah, because I wore my Lando Skiff-Guard costume just the one day on Saturday, and that has a helmet and just a little bit of foam and stuff, and I was dying. I only wore it like half the day because I was just like, I'm out of this. I don't care.
So brutal, man. It was not expected, but I definitely got through it. I didn't drink as much water as I normally do, and that's because the culture is different there. That's something else Eric and I learned.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The water culture is not the same as like plastic bottles everywhere in America, where you can pick up water every single store or place you go into. You can buy a bottle of water. No.
Yeah, and also in the U.S., anytime you go out to eat, the first thing they do is bring you a glass of ice water.
Yes.
Right.
And they like the bubbly water there.
And in Germany, it's not default. You have to ask for water. And then the default is you pay for a bottle of water, even though most places have tap water. It's more posh or something, like Benny was explaining to us. The Germans, they like to drink the fizzy fancy water.
Yeah, so they like their fizzy water.
So then you're paying like $9 for a bottle of water on top of every meal you eat too. And then you can ask for the tap water, but they kind of look at you like they don't want to give it to you.
Dude, and the freaking irony, y'all, is there was not that many TV stations I could like put on while I was doing my makeup. I like background noise, but I did find a local news station that was reporting that the UK was running out of CO2 because it goes in their fizzy water and their bread. It also is like injected into like bread bags to stay, fresh, whatever. And I was like, dang, that's a problem right there. And that's a problem I've never heard of before. Like, not enough fizzy water. But it was funny nonetheless. Like I really enjoy the cultural differences. I loved trying, the different foods and just seeing. It's fun to see how things work. Like Eric and I talked as we were walking through Germany about how quiet it was because there aren't a lot of AC units going. Like there's like none. Yeah. But our first hotel didn't have AC. Yeah. And cars, yes, people drive places, but a lot of walking and biking. It is a walking biking culture. Yeah. They're very fit there. Not a lot of thick with two C's kind of people walking around. Fine. It's nice to see people from different cultures, but it's a variety, it's, the world is just so different all over, and it's amazing to dip into a culture and get to see how different it is. I loved the grocery store. Like,
oh yeah, I was going to say
we got my Instagram story.
So Benny and Svetlana took us to the grocery store just to kind of get an idea of what is there, and there was a really awesome American food section, which
Yeah,
is like, like what was it, like $12 bottle of Aunt Jemima?
Yes. And
syrup,
if you guys want to see on the highlight reel on my Instagram story, you can still see it. It had blue box mac and cheese. It was like the American section. It's like, dude, this is.
It was all junk food.
It was all junk food, and in hindsight, that makes sense because they want the funny things from America.
Yeah.
But most of it's stuff that we don't eat on a regular basis because we know it's junk food.
Because it's all sugar and junk. There's like Pringles and Doritos. I mean, it's all good American junk food, but I'll give you that.
Pop-Tarts and stuff that you're like, ooh.
But everything was like 5 times the amount you pay for it in the U.S.
Yes.
So.
But it was still really cool to get to see that, and then to see like how things are different there, like the way that they package things, cereal in tubes. That's a big thing, not the boxes like we have.
Yeah, and milk in boxes on the shelf, not in a refrigerator unit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Dang, so crazy.
My favorite thing at the grocery store though was the gummy section because the Germans know their gummies, and I am a gummy candy fiend. Yeah. And there was like more gummies than you could ever. I mean, it was like the aisle was like, I don't know, the size of an American cereal aisle.
Yeah, dude. And to be honest, y'all, I should not have bought all that candy. Like, I bought so much.
We loaded up on candy.
I was like, I've been trying to cut back on sugar, but not when I came back from Germany, man, I ate so much candy. I gave some to my family and then I was like, oh, this is too good to give away.
Yeah, the gummies were really good, right?
Yeah, I feel like I just finished the last bag like in December, but I'm glad it's gone. I miss it. I'm sad. It was delicious, but I'm also glad it's gone.
But I'm also glad
too much.
Yeah,
it wasn't a treat. It was like American indulgence. I was like, I need to bring all of this. And then I brought like weird things back, like the they had like marzipan. Is it marzipan?
Marzipan, yeah, marzipan like little
hot dogs and like the Wiener Schnitzel and stuff. They had it all. They had themed German food done in marzipan. So I brought that back for my family because that was really funny.
So to be fair, part of it is Svetlana's fault because as we're walking through the store, you're kind of walking behind her and she's like, you need one of these? You need one of these? You need one?
And I'm like,
just like,
yes, I do. I'm glad you know I do because I definitely do.
Getting buried.
I was carrying it like this in the end and I was very happy with my collection. I wanted every bit of it. And then I get to packing it. And of course, when I go to the airport, one bag is way overweight and I had to like check it a different way. Like it was my carry-on, but that's another thing to prepare for in Europe. You can take stuff there because American airports allow it, but prepare that you're probably going to have one bag less. You are not getting on those flights with big old carry-ons. You absolutely aren't. You're going to check it and it's going to be $150. Prepare yourself, guys, because it happened to me with my carry-on.
Did it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that stinks.
I travel all the time. In America, like domestically, like almost every month. Last year and the year before, I've been doing traveling, and I can get away with all kinds of stuff on the airplanes. You know, like wait, I shouldn't say that. No, I'm just kidding. I follow all the rules, but sometimes the rules include some big bags, you know, and they're like, yeah, it's fine.
Well, no, it's just you're very thankful to the gracious TSA agents in the U.S.
Thankful. Yes. I am.
Yes,
I'm very thankful, and I believe that they should get paid when they're working.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right. I love the TSA agents because they make me feel safe. I say the more the better, dude. Fill that place out, and then let my bags through. Thank you,
TSA.
Yeah,
there you go.
And I'm the weird person in the airport. I feel like I forget, like, I don't know what it is, but I don't have that, like, oh, cop, I'm scared filter. I have, like, oh, a cop dog? Oh, my gosh, I love it. I'm like, what's your dog done lately? Have they solved any crimes? What's the coolest thing they've ever sniffed out? Have they found bombs? And the police officer's just like, we got to get this one in here. Come on now. Like, this is too much. Yeah, but I just get excited about the little working dog.
You can't pet my dog.
Yeah. Oh, I don't pet it. I know
it will bite you. Don't pet my dog. It'll bite you.
I don't pet, but I still I'm like too enthusiastic, and the officers are just like, this is a red alarm. Like, this is not right. But she's distracting. There's a crime reel going on behind her. But
so wrapping up Germany, I just want to have a big shout out to Benny and Svetlana for hosting us for a couple days, because that was a really needed place to be, because we had already been there for like 3 or 4 days, and you start kind of feeling when you're in a country that you don't speak their language, and even though everybody there speaks English fairly well, it still is kind of disjointed and isn't like fluid kind of thing, and you kind of start feeling like really isolated in a way, to me. And you and I, we were like the only two that could really converse the way we do. And then by the time we got to Kamui's, it was really just a nice to be able to just talk with them and have it not be a disjointed kind of thing. And Benny's just like a hilarious dude.
Oh yeah. So he's very charismatic. I have to say.
He's so funny. Like, and he knows a lot of American stuff. So they're a really cute couple, and they were great hosts.
It was really nice to talk to them about just I don't know. I really enjoyed it. We went out to dinner and we had like some traditional food, and we brought the corgis. Those of you that follow
I have a video of corgi butts walking. So the
corgis went to dinner with us.
They did.
It's cool. We had a really good time with the dogs. They're so freaking sweet. And then obviously, those of you that are wondering, that are obsessed and just have to know everything about everyone's lives, just like me, Kamui's house is immaculate and so well organized. It's frightening.
Yeah.
Her girls, her closet, the shoes, it's like the proper amount of shoes put together. They're not like falling apart. They're not messy. They're not junky. And then a lot of black and white, but it's like almost artistically hanging in her closet. It's a very fun visit. Like their house in general was a very fun visit. Like I definitely enjoyed it. They have a really nice big couch and a giant projector. It was cool.
Yeah. Their whole living room is basically one big sofa, and the one wall is a huge projector screen. So,
and we got to watch them work. They had to work. Like they're workers. Yeah. And we got to sit there and actually watch the work as it was going on. Watch the photos, the video from behind the scenes. Me and Eric are like off to the side, and we're
just like hanging out. It was a really nice break just watching somebody else stress out and work,
A team of like they're a power couple, man.
Yeah,
and it's so
fun. They have their thing down, right?
Oh, they just they're the best. They're the most well-oiled machine I've ever seen.
Yeah,
they could be taught. One could be talking to us, and then the other's like filming and carrying on the conversation. Like, man, it's wild.
Yeah. They have the German efficiency thing down to a T.
Yes, they do. Yes.
And their place is beautiful with the apartment downstairs, the workshop upstairs. It's like if you were to somebody said, "Hey, we need a place in a movie to be like this quintessential European like crafter home." It's like it would be like poof, that's their place. It's like exactly what you'd expect to see. So
yeah, it was such a nice treat.
Yeah. Yeah. Super thankful to them. So thank you. And if you want to know more about them, they were on our podcast like way back when. I was going to look up what episode. I think it's like episode 5 or 6.
And it's a funny one. We had a good time together.
The Kamui Cosplay episode is a great episode. So go check them out, learn a little more about them. They're great people. So
yeah, they are. It was definitely a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, me too.
Germany was a success. I look forward to coming back to the UK in the future, or Europe.
Yes.
UK.
Yes.
We go to the UK, Jackie. Gosh.
That's right. Yes. Europe. You're open to Europe and or the UK.
Yeah, I'm not coming to Poland though. Sorry. Love you guys, but until y'all figure out what's going on over there, I'll just hang out on the coast. The edges.
One more shout out before we finish Germany.
But I love Polish people.
I want to shout out to our booth neighbors, Alyssa and Anthony. Harley's Joker and Joker's Harley from New York City. They were awesome booth partners. We got along with them really well. And
that was actually really awesome to have people from freaking America right beside us. They put us there on purpose.
Oh, that was great. It was great because they were awesome. I mean, and the coolest thing is Anthony is probably like one of the most well-known Joker cosplays in like the world. And
you've seen him without realizing it's him. As soon as I saw the picture, I was like, oh my gosh, I've seen that Joker 1,000 times. Like, he is the Joker.
Is the Joker. Yeah. And he wasn't there actually cosplaying because he's kind of retired that character. Although they just announced like last week that they're coming back to Germany, and he's actually bringing Joker back for Germany this year. So
that is freaking cute. But are they going back to?
They're going back because I follow Alyssa on Instagram. Actually, I follow both of them on Instagram, and they had posted it last week or something. So
that's freaking awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I want to go back. Well, we need an invite.
Oh yeah, of course I want to go back. I mean, like everybody.
Germany Comic-Con, we want to come back. Just bring us.
It's crazy now that I've experienced it. I feel like it would be like even better the second time around. But
because there's
it was so good. It was one of the best cons I've ever done. So I don't know how it could get better, but I just know it can.
Yeah, you want to be like Michael Jordan and just walk out on top, right? You're just like I'm walking out. I'm good.
Yeah, I was on fire. I just felt like the people were amazing. I loved talking to you guys so much. Like it was such an I don't know. I've always been interested in other cultures. Like I definitely am somebody that, like, my dad's like an Anglophile. Sorry for the cringe for a moment, but yeah, like we just love history, like just the good and the bad. We don't love the bad, but we love to research it nonetheless. So it's cool to meet people and see like just the differences, the mannerisms, the way that they talk, the way they carry themselves. I love it. I'm a people watcher, I think. People person.
And for me, since I'm not nearly a name as like some of the people there, but I was really surprised at how many people came over like, hey, I follow you, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's actually more than like in my local cons. So it's like,
yeah, and honestly, the amount of people that came up about the podcast.
That's true.
Of all the cons I've been to, that was the first time that I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't, because I don't pay attention to the numbers that much. I'll ask Eric, like, how many people watch.
We're apparently we're the Hasselhoff of podcasts in Europe. There you go.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Dude, had we had a better, like, in the future, it would be fun if we do go back to a European con. I think we have to figure out a way to like record there.
Yeah,
like,
to do a podcast. That would be fun. It'd be really fun to do like
audience questions.
I was just gonna say to do a Q&A. To do a Q&A would be really fun. So, hey, speaking of that, one of the things that we have discussed, and kind of segue away from this a little bit, we do plan on doing like some at least maybe once a month is what we're thinking, is a podcast or a podcast. Hey,
once a month. That's all you're getting. 12 a year. Hold on tight, guys. It's gonna be a short ride.
Let me start over. We were talking about we want to do at least maybe Twitch once a month.
Yes,
so,
a live thing with you guys.
A live Twitch stream podcast. So
you can LOL with us when we LOL, and you can ask us questions. We feel like we after the break and just realizing like how much I don't know, sometimes you just start something, you don't realize the impact it's going to have. You don't realize like the way, like, we didn't start out thinking like this is going to be greatly successful. People are going to love listening to us. We're awesome. We did not think that. We were talking. Let's talk to each other and maybe people will like it. Like, it was really just a hopeful thing that just to be able to cover a lot of topics, talk to a lot of people and enjoy that. But you guys have been so supportive and so nice about it that, we want to try to have more structure, cool, more guests, different guests, and take suggestions on guests, and also do the live Q&A thing. Like, we think that could be a fun thing to do.
Yeah, and not to just be entertainment, but maybe be even more of a resource to the community. So, because we want to be both, but we're going to try to push the resource part of it a little more.
Yeah. And resource on many things. Like when we say that, it's not just going to be like, there are a lot of amazing crafting podcasts out there, but I think that Eric and I both agree that like we're a little bit different because we're kind of a weird variety. We're like a nerdy variety show in a way, and it's not like we planned it. It's just when we start talking, you're going to get. Yeah, I don't know. Well, like we talked about mold one time. Like, things are weird.
That's right.
I'm sorry. I'm still sorry for that podcast.
We did talk about mold, and it wasn't just like 2 minutes. It was like 15 minutes of mold. 15 minutes of
mold. You never know what's happening here. Things are weird, but they're good weird, right?
Yeah, and it feels good to be back at it.
It does. It feels good.
I know, it was like over and over again, there's people emailing or messaging me mostly. When you coming back? When you coming back? I miss you guys. And
almost every reply to my stories have been something like that.
Yeah. Or on my latest,
like last year and stuff, November is like
right?
People are still talking.
Yeah. People were starting to get the sickness on us a little bit. So
we're here. We came back. We listened.
So we're back. We're calling it season 2. It really means nothing, but it just sounds good.
Why not? Why not? Let's just do it. Season 2 sounds fun.
One of the comments on Instagram was like, "Wait, there's seasons?" And I'm like, "Well,
sure.
Yeah."
Yeah, there are. They were just hiding, and now they've come forward. And this one's the second one. The first one was very shy.
So we're back for season 2. Is there? Do you want to cover any other cons from last year?
Yes, I want you to. Freaking Eric went to Dragon Con for the first time, guys.
Oh, I forgot about Dragon Con.
What? We have to hear about Dragon Con, Eric, and what led you there.
Okay, so I don't know. I want to be able to like say this without it being just like a big long-winded thing.
What's wrong with long-winded? I'm always full of wind. I'm just go for it. Embrace it, honey.
Embrace the long-winded. So Actually,
Ooh, Eric's wife is messaging me. Ooh,
right now she is.
Yeah,
Oh,
she is.
wow, okay.
Ooh, go ahead. I'm gonna tell her.
She like,
I have a second to respond because he's gonna be long-winded.
She's like, "Hey, woman, I need to talk to my man. Get off the phone."
No, she wants to talk to me. We have a good relationship. So go ahead.
Okay, so I think we even talked about this in our not the last episode, because the last episode was a guest episode with Beverly Downen, which was a great episode. Go check it out. Oh, and also she started,
which is a great lead into this story also.
Yeah, which also she started a podcast for her She-Prop group, She-Prop Talk. Really awesome, talking to other makers, female makers or of that variety. And it's really cool, so go check that out. Okay, so segue into that. I was contacted by Marvel. I talked about this, I think the one before that, as an NDA project. That's all I said. I was working on an NDA project and all that. So 8 months later now, it was for Marvel for the Becoming series, which is their online web series. And they had hired Beverly to create Wasp. It was somewhat short notice, and she said she wanted to do it, but she didn't think she'd have time to make the helmet, which for me, which was pretty cool. I got referred not by Beverly, but by somebody else I know, Alyssa Smith, who lives in New York City, who's a friend with the producer. And I had a video conference with the producer and the director, or a phone conference with the director and the producer. And they're like, "Hey, yeah, we're doing this thing with this lady down in Portland." And they didn't even know we knew each other. So, and I'm like, "Well, who is it?" Because I probably know everybody. I probably know who it is or, and they're like, "Oh, it's Beverly Downen." And I'm like, "Well, she's like, besides Jackie, she's like my cosplay BFF." And they're like, "Oh, wow, that's awesome." So we did this collab thing. I made the Wasp helmet, hand sculpted it out of clay, did a resin cast of it, all that good stuff. And then we went down to Dragon Con because they wanted to film Beverly in costume at Dragon Con. And it was a really, really, really great time. It was fun.
Great of a time?
It wasn't. Let's see. I had a pretty great year last year. Germany was great. Atlanta, Dragon Con was great. They were both great on their own things. I won't say one was better than the other. But I literally did more traveling in the last year, like mileage wise, than I've ever done in my life. I've never been outside of the US other than to Canada, and I've never been past Chicago. So I made it all the way to Atlanta. It's really warm and humid down there. So
yes. Oh man, it's a swamp for sure. It feels so humid.
But we had a blast at Dragon Con because we were there. Our lanyard passes for the con, it said Eric Jones Marvel Entertainment. So
ooh, that's a good one.
So I got to roll like a boss for a few days. I had somebody.
And I know a bunch of y'all are badge collectors. We all keep our badges.
Yeah, I had somebody try to kick me out of a section because they thought I didn't belong in that area, and I'm like, I just like waved my badge at her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm from that school of thought. If you just like act like you're meant to be there, it works.
Well, I was, but she was being really pushy, and I was just like, I'm supposed to be here, and I show her my badge. She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It was great. There was a huge meetup for Marvel. One of the second or third night. Lee Hurley was there in his Thanos. There was a part of the cast of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was out there with us. We got to meet.
And Riddle was there too, right?
Yeah. Riddle, Ricky. She was there because she works with Marvel. Her husband works for Marvel. Come to find out, Ricky and her husband both worked on the Wasp costume. Ricky worked with the team that made the whole costume. We hung out with them for I don't know, 3 or 4 hours that night. So I know it was really kind of validating because she was taking pictures and sending them to the Marvel team from Marvel Studios that worked on the stuff. And they were giving us feedback about, they just thought Beverly just killed that costume and they loved the helmet. And it was cool to have compliments from people I consider, in some ways, the studio stuff is the pinnacle of the industry in a way. So to have those industry people just be very complimentary of the things that we did, it felt great. It was awesome. It really was. And, it was a pretty quick job for me, even though I found out about it like 4 months in advance. I wasn't planning on getting hit on the freeway on my motorcycle. And spending almost 3 months of that 4 months, like recuperating from, I got in a motorcycle wreck. I guess we haven't even talked about that yet, but.
Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah. That was after the podcast. You're right.
Yeah. So I was going to work one morning and a guy hit me on the freeway. He turned into me. I didn't know he was there. He didn't know I was there. It was totally his fault. Broke 3 ribs, had a really massive concussion. So I was out of like my actual job for almost 3 months. In the middle of that, went to Germany, acted like
and Eric still had memory trouble when he went to Germany. I witnessed it.
Acted like a total space cadet half the time we were there because I actually
felt really bad about it.
It was only a month. It was only a month after it happened. So and I didn't realize
I was worried he might not be able to go. I was like, well, are you going to be, I don't want you to fly and get like a blood clot. And then
I was a little worried about
Eric
that.
To Germany.
I was a little worried about that at first too. So. But my doctor was like, no, it'd be good for you to do, to do that or whatever. But
you did a lot of walking, so your circulation was good.
Right. But I didn't realize how much the concussion affected me until I've gotten so far away from it now that it's like my brain was really not working correctly at that time. So if I seemed like a total idiot at Germany Comic-Con to everybody, that's I'm blaming it on the head trauma.
Yeah, it was very obviously the head trauma because like you'd tell Eric I was like, hey Eric, we're gonna go here, and then he'd be like, so what are we doing? And I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's like
but he would do it 3 times in a row, and so it was like, oh my gosh, this is like, it was kind of fascinating. He's like watching like an actual thing
and you're like well, the thing that was weird though, is like you would tell me you just asked this, and I'm like,
and I was like, wait, are you?
But I would be like, I did, really? You're like, you just asked me that. Really?
And it was like very obvious that you really did not know. If that moment was gone.
Yes.
Like, man, it's scary to witness because people talk about that with with like concussions, but you rarely get to see it in action in such like.
So I am very thankful to my guardian angel out there because I could have been complete road pizza and no longer with us.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're not.
Considering where it happened on the freeway in Seattle and it's just massive traffic and there was just like a lot of things that could have gone really, really bad. And I actually didn't even spend the night in the hospital. So, but the recovery was, fairly significant. So, but
did you know the people that rescued you because of work?
No,
okay.
It was a different area. So,
okay.
But so that was my summer. So, recuperating from that.
It was like really good and really bad.
Yeah, so I had this awesome lead time for the Wasp helmet, and it just shrunk down into like 5 weeks is what I had to build that thing, And I wanted to do it all by hand. I didn't want to do 3D printing and stuff because I wanted that challenge of like, I think I can do this by hand. I think I can sculpt this. I just want to make it happen that way, And I was able to pull it off, and I think it turned out really well. So.
It did. It was a beautiful build. The whole thing was beautiful. It came together really nicely. And if you guys haven't watched it, you should look it up. It's the Becoming Marvel series. And there's a few other friends that we've had that have been in the series, like Solo Roboto. You see his Winter Soldier arm. So you guys should definitely check it out. It was the Winter Soldier he was featured for, right?
No, his was there for the original Ant-Man, like the really cool,
that's what it was.
The really cool chrome helmet. And then
my brain.
I think it was anyway. I'm pretty sure.
I believe you. You're more likely to know than I am, actually. Everything just kind of like is a blob of shiny excitement in my head.
And because of that, I know a bunch of people that I didn't know before that were also on the Becoming series that I'm consider friends now and stuff too. I'm escaping names right now, but so it was a great time. I loved Atlanta. I got to also visit Volpin Props shop, which was really cool because I've gotten to know Harrison a little bit more over the past couple of years. Also, God Save the Queen Fashions. I went by her shop too because they're just kind of like across the corridor from each other. Really cool to meet Kathy and take a look at her workshop and all the wonderful things that she's made.
Man, that's some hardcore seamstressing or engineering, the leather work and stuff. Oh my gosh, man, she's got amazing skills.
It's amazing. Yep. And then I also found out that several of those people that we kind of all know mutually actually worked on some of the Wasp stuff too, that I had no idea they worked on it because they couldn't tell me.
I know. It's like this weird world of people get to work on cool stuff, but like you just don't get to talk about it. Like that's a tricky part about being behind the scenes in an industry. Our friend Sanit, he's always working on cool stuff, and all he'll send me is like a video of the sun setting in New Zealand. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way,
working on, buddy? He's like, yes, I am. You just can't see it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And he listens to the podcast and was a guest on the podcast. So go check out Spicy Thai Creations. But he's coming back. Our Spicy Thai design. Yeah, he's coming back with Weta for Emerald City in like 3 or 4 weeks. So he was going to stay with me, but my work schedule is all messed up. So I wasn't able to work it out to where he could stay a couple extra days here, but we're going to have some fun.
I'm so jelly that you get time with Sanit, man. I love that dude. I really do. I find he's just a fun personality, and his accent is so fun to listen to. Like he's a really cool accent.
After, the last time when he stayed with me and we went to not Dragon Con. I always get Dragon Con and BlizzCon mixed up. And we went down to BlizzCon together, but he came and stayed with me for a couple days. I finally spent enough time with him that I got pretty well at deciphering his accent, because he has like the New Zealand and the Thai thing meshed together. Yeah. And I felt like I speak pretty fluent Sanit at this point, which is because we're together with Mixed Company and he'll say something and I'll be like, oh, this is what he said. They're like, oh, okay.
I can understand that. I'm very fortunate that I have like a really good natural ear for dialect.
Yeah.
I'm one of the only of my family and friends. I don't know why, but I almost don't even notice a British accent, like a generic British accent, like maybe London.
Yeah,
but I don't really, it's not like a big thing to me, but like Cogni or something, like, okay, you give me my money. Yeah. But sometimes I watch things on TV and like you got to put a caption on because it's just like whatever accent they're putting on is bananas.
Some of those are so, and it's like really just heavy and like.
Heavy,
really,
and almost like it also depends on the person's style of speaking. Mm-hmm. If like, same thing, those of you that are international listeners, if Eric and I speak clearly and to the point, and if I slow down, then I know we're easier to understand than someone that's just like, barely moving their lips and kind of like, it doesn't matter if you speak that language. It's still hard to listen to.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Very true.
So that definitely, articulation's important, but yeah.
So did I answer all your questions about Dragon Con? Was that enough?
So did you party? Y'all don't have to ask. We came to hear about your party, Eric. Did you party?
I'm not much of a partier, but Dragon Con is basically a 5-day party. So yeah. I mean,
like a couple beers with your friends, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
You're past the age of getting drunk and throwing chairs off of the upstairs balconies.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't drink to excess. Mm-hmm. There may have been something involving moonshine peaches that happened. But
now, is that the accident memory loss or the moonshine memory loss?
But what happens at Dragon Con stays at Dragon Con.
Interesting. That's true. I was really sad to not attend Dragon Con. I had one thing I've learned as this season goes on. Eventually, there will be businessy type podcast episodes, and I have a lot that I have to that I want to talk about like the business, because I'm just coming in with a hard damn, it was hard in 2018 to like navigate some of the business avenues. It was the hardest year so far because some companies have proved harder to work with than I expected, and some people and some things, and some are great. And man, if you're an independent person, like especially if you don't have a partner in this, it can get tricky. It can get really tricky. You need somebody to talk about like contracts and other things with, and if something's normal or if it's not, like, man, I have a lot of, I hope that the business side of things interests some of you. I know it does some of you because I get questions constantly about advice on how to write something or things like that. So I'm hoping we can cover some of that this year and maybe even have a guest or two that are qualified to talk about some of the like business side of things. Don't worry. I'm not going to spend 35 minutes talking about taxes. That's not what I mean. What I mean is navigating how to talk to a brand and how to get a deal and how to negotiate a contract and how to not let someone trap you just because you want to work for a company. Yeah. And then when someone's being professional, when they're not, like, dang, I feel like I've aged a lot in the last like year and a half of my business side of things. So I definitely want to talk about that, but
that's always an ever changing landscape too, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's and like, new companies emerge and want to be a part of it, and they don't know how to handle it. And it's not dying out. If anything, cosplay is the cosplay crafting maker personality, everything that comes along with our community is more integrated and bigger than ever. So there's definitely a lot of interest.
Yeah. And that part's really kind of shooting up too. I see a lot of more people like, kind of like people as a brand in a way. It seems like that's really becoming a bigger thing. People like maybe like starting their own line of whatever, you know. I mean,
we have friends that have sent us things that are like the one I just showed you, the Monkey Studios or Prop Monkey Studios. What's his? Gosh,
I don't remember.
I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I will make sure to correct that. I'll put it on my Instagram story. But he's coming up with a new product, and I'm gonna try it on my. I have a big build coming. Gosh, we're gonna have to just cut this podcast up, like chop, 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 because there's so much we could talk about. Like I have been wanting to talk to you guys so much. If you only knew, like I feel like there's so many things to talk about. And but the new products coming out, a lot of our friends have come up with different things for coating, sealing foam. And it's cool. It's cool to see like the engineering and the ingenuity. Like people are really going for it. If they're passionate about something, they're making it a thing. And having a good brand and protecting your brand is important. It's important.
Absolutely. Speaking of branding, I couldn't help but notice your new shirt.
Yeah, dude, I got a whole outfit, y'all. So upon my visit to Germany,
wait, does that have a hood too? Is that like a sweatshirt?
It does have a hood. It does have a hood. And I have a backpack. I have, this is a mouse pad. I've got a tray. Like, I just have everything. I decided. So one thing, this is a little weird, but I get it. Like, Kamui has like the buy my books. Like, okay.
By the way, that, their apparel for that debuted on our podcast.
Yes, you're right. So here I am coming full circle, and I got the idea, like straight up. I was like, you know what? I kind of love her unapologetic, you know, just going for it brand, because I think that's fine. I think when you're like subtle advertising, trying to be sneaky, and it's like, oh, fit tee, oh my gosh, like I use this, can't you tell? And like, nah, dude, nah. Like this is me. This is what I stand for. I stand by my brand. I have a 5-star rating on my store. I answer every single question. I've got over 800 sales in my Etsy store in 1 year, and that's like multiple patterns. So some are 4 patterns for each. I've sold thousands of patterns, and that's one of the 3 stores. You guys have changed my life dramatically, and I want to wear my brand everywhere and have everybody know this is me, this is what I stand for. And I help. I want to be a helper. I want to be a helper that helps people bring the things that they love to life. And doing patterns has done that, and it has created this huge bright spot in my life. It's like exactly what I needed. Like you don't realize you need something until it's like the people that buy my patterns are what I need. Like I need those people. They're wonderful. Watching them and following and seeing like, oh, they bought it, you know, like, and they have an Instagram account. What are they going to do? They've cut it out. Oh, it's on the floor. They've cut it out. Oh my gosh. Like I love that stuff all the way to like Dan, the guy that fit it. He was the first one to finish my end-to-end Ren pattern set, the whole set. And I built it. And I was like, I don't know if someone else is going to be able to do it. Like, I don't know what it'll look like when they do it. I hope for the best. And then when I see it's just right, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like it worked, and I love it. There's nothing like that. It's like Christmas every day, seeing people create. Like
absolutely, absolutely. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again and again and again. There's nothing satisfies me more as far as this hobby or side business or whatever you want to call it that I exist as. When people come up to me and say, "Hey, because of this, you inspired me to do whatever this thing is," you know. And when people tell me that, it's just it feels like all is right in the world kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And it's
proof that people it's nice that those people are focusing on something good. Like it's a distraction from the bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, take it away. It doesn't make the problems that we have in society, it doesn't diminish them. It's just everybody needs a little escapism to stay sane. Exactly. You just need it.
Exactly.
You need it. It's good for the soul, man.
And one thing I wanted to point out, you know, talking about like branding and kind of pushing your own image or whatever. I don't remember where I heard it or if it was said to me or if I read it. I wish I knew who I could attribute it to. But I heard somebody say something along the lines of, if you're talking about, you know, people are always like, oh, sorry for this shameless promotion. And then they promote whatever. Right. And I heard somebody talk, maybe it was a Twitter thread or something, but basically it was like, no, don't be sorry, because if you don't shamelessly promote yourself, who's going to?
Yeah.
And that for me was like one of those things that's like, it just kind of changed things in my mind as far as that whole deal, right? And it's true, because if you don't put yourself out there, if you want to create this thing, if you want to be known as this thing or known for whatever, and you don't believe and push yourself, well, nobody else is going to either, right? And how can you expect to be a success in that if you don't do it yourself? You know?
Yeah.
So don't be apologetic for doing your thing. You know, and the only thing is be aware. And if people start telling you that you're being hella annoying, then maybe dial it back a little bit. But
Sure. You have to give them something to go with it.
Exactly.
If you're always advertising and you're only ever selling something, and you don't give them a little bit of yourself or a little bit of personality or a little bit of instruction or whatever it is that you're marketing, if you don't give them something, then it's just always trying to ask for something. And
exactly. And that's a little different. And that's almost like, it's almost becomes like a begging kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So, it's like, why would I want to support you? What do you give me? What do you give to my day? And if somebody's not, giving something to your day and making your life better, like, it's hard to ask for something. So
that's just true.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because obviously there are people that cosplay that really just do it as a hobby. They have no interest in making any money from it. Or maybe if they did, it would just be as much as like a professional hobby. And then there's people that have found something that they're good at, that there is a market for, and they created a job. And it can't be dismissed. People can't dismiss like, oh, they're just trying to make money at cosplay. Like, that's ridiculous. They should just do it as a hobby. Never be like that. Don't be like that. Let people, whatever. Jobs come out of the craziest things. You think that girl that started making velvet freaking coat hangers on HSN was like, dang, I'm so passionate about coat hangers? No, she just thought she was good at something and ran with it. Like, if there's a product that people want to buy and you can sell it and know it's a good product, then don't be ashamed to do it. But one thing I will say is my best friend Liz. I know you guys don't see a lot from Liz, but I see a lot from Liz. Including
also about Ruby. Podcast guest. We had a lot of guests the past couple of years.
Well, yeah, and hopefully we'll have more.
I didn't mean to derail you there. I just always have to throw a plug. Always have to throw a plug if I hear somebody's name and like, hey, we did a podcast with them. It's
good, see, because that way you guys can go back and listen if you're new and just jumping in. So Liz is my best friend, and she's preggers, having a sweet big old baby, and she. Obviously, we became friends, and she has a huge following. She had like 200 some thousand followers. And when I was new in the beginning, I never, ever, ever felt, oh man, this is my friend. I really hope she promotes me. I need to get her to promote me so I can succeed. What people aren't realizing, and I've slowly realized, like, well, I guess I've always felt this way. I've never depended on someone else to promote me or lift me up or share me. If we share each other because we want to share each other, because we're like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But sharing the problem with the inner community web is if we're all sharing each other, we're just seeing each other. It's rare that a brand is going to see you shared on someone else's account and then hire you. They're probably going to hire that person. Yeah. So you do need to realize that if it's a business thing, you're you, and you are your own advertising, marketing, financial advisor. Nobody's going to lift you up but yourself. You have to be your own identity and be your own brand. So whatever you do, don't rely on just the community friendship sharing, because it's not healthy. It puts pressure on friendships. Yeah. And then things are weird when you collab. It's just a good idea to really not try to rely on other people in general to boost your business. It's really good to just, if they want to share you, they share you on their own, and then it's organic.
Yeah. And along the same lines too, I think it's important to have the attitude too. If you see something and it's like so compelling that you want to share it, and don't expect anything else from it.
Yes, organically, exactly.
Yeah, because
if you see it and you're like, I got to put this out there right now.
Because if you see things as like, well, I did this, therefore they owe me, you will always be disappointed and you will always be miserable. Because
yes, you will.
Because that's just not a good reason to put other people's stuff out there.
And being a tit for tat kind of person in general,
no,
I can't do that, dude, because just the list started to get long, because you're always the person in your, somebody are their own worst enemy, sure, but most of the time you're the person in your corner, so your tit and tat list is really long, and you're like, well, I've done 7,500 things, and they have never done anything for me.
Yeah.
And, you never know what someone else is thinking, so it's definitely best to not keep a list like that in life. You can be intelligent about like business related things, but as far as like inner community, like acquaintances things. Try not to hostility, weird feelings because someone didn't share you. You never know what's going on in someone else's head.
Absolutely. So we've run quite the gamut today, really. I mean, we went all the way from Germany to be kind and share without strings.
Yeah. Yes. Do things without the expectation of something in return. Yeah. That's a good philosophy in life in general. I try to live that and when I catch myself, I stop it. I'll say out loud, why am I reacting this way?
Exactly.
I shouldn't be.
Exactly.
You have to pay attention to the way you're acting.
And that's the thing. It's like you have to be self-aware enough to know that you can, I mean, we all can get stuck in that trap, right? It's like, it's not like I never have those thoughts or anything.
Of course not. And I think that's don't lie. Don't lie to yourself and to other people.
Exactly.
We are all vulnerable to those kind of weaknesses.
Yeah. Cool.
It's true.
I think I think
we're all just trying to be our best versions of ourselves every day.
I think this is a good place to wrap up this inaugural return to Craft and Geek season 2.
Season 2.
Which really means nothing.
It means everything. It's so important. Well, it's going to be a good season, I think. We are hoping that we will have lots of guests. We're going to reach out to all kinds of people. Jedi Manda, she's someone that's popular in our community. We're hoping to have her on. We're going to try our best to reach out and get all kinds. We want to do variety. We really do. We want cosplay variety, maker variety, crossovers that Eric's met and I've met from.
Yeah, because we both have met like a lot of really great people in the past. In 9 months too. Exactly. Yeah.
And we want you guys to meet some of these freaking cool people that we've met that we know you love already. Yeah. So if you have requests though, put it in the comments, hit those people up. Like, don't just be like, dude, Jackie sent me here. Blame it on me. Like, Jackie sent me here right now. She told me I have to come to tell you to be on the podcast. Just do it. It's fun. They like that also. Yeah, like
very
people
true.
Like it. They don't act like they don't like it. They like it when you're like, please, I just want to listen to you. and don't be embarrassed. Like, oh, I don't want to tag this person because I don't want to look like weird or like a stage 5 clinger. No, that doesn't matter. Yeah. You're awesome for listening. If you listen to this podcast, you're probably not a weirdo.
So what we're really asking you to do is just to shamelessly self-promote us. I guess that wouldn't be self-promotion. Yes. I guess that wouldn't be self-promotion. It would be like third-party promotion. Anyway, whatever it would be.
Yeah, so we were just asking you to go all out, like,
and we're not apologizing.
No, we love the podcast. We think you guys love the podcast. So we want the podcast to grow and be better than ever and more often and just be, cover more things. We're ready. We're ready to take on a new season of excitement.
Okay, so for final last word, if you made it this far, what is it, Jackie?
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, I don't know. How about sea urchin? That's a fun one.
Sea urchin. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If you made it to the end and you know what a sea urchin is, dang, good on you. If you have to Google it, that's fine too. Tell me you had to Google it because I think I remember what a sea urchin looks like. I'm pretty sure it's like a little small circular barbed creature that has like a gooey center.
I think so. Yeah. All right.
That's right.
All right. Until then.
Bye guys.